It is your boy T with another Have You Seen That with T movie review, and today I am reviewing Ghosted. Right, so I saw the preview for Ghosted a few weeks ago, starring Anna de Armas and Captain America himself, Chris Evans. And Ghosted is a story about a female CIA agent who meets Chris Evans. They have a great night together, and Chris Evans is this bee honey farmer who meets Anna de Armas, and I could definitely see how if I met Anna de Armas and we had one great date, one great day of just being with each other, I would can see how I would text her 50, 11 times in order to get that second date, right? So she goes to him, and him, in a grand gesture, finds out where she's at, finds out she's in London, and he takes a trip across the globe to, I guess, have his second date, right? Once again, it's Anna de Armas. I could see how any human would want to travel across the world to have a second date with Anna de Armas, right? She's this perfect character named Sadie, who they just have this amazing connection, this amazing day together, and he wants to have a second day. He gets to London and he gets wrapped up into this whole arms deal that gone bad, and they mistake his identity as the person called the Taxman, who's supposed to be one of the biggest CIA heavy hitters, and the arms dealer who's supposed to give them this massive biological weapon in order for them to annihilate half the world's population or whatever. You know the gist. It's always these international terrorists. In this movie, played by Adrian Brody, given his best. I don't even know. I don't know if he's French. Yeah, he was French. He was supposed to be like a French MI agent who went rogue. Uh, Tell me if you've heard this plot before. But this movie, I remember seeing the previews, and I went into the comments, which I never do, and everyone was saying, oh, they've gender swapped these, roles, and I don't want to watch it because there's a woman saving a man, and there was a lot of that, right? Anna de Armas was a complete badass in this movie, and if you find it funny that tiny Anna de Armas is saving Captain America, then you wouldn't be wrong. But at the same time, she is a trained CIA agent, so I'm hoping that being this highly trained operative, she would know how to handle herself and take care of the bad guys, which she does, right? And Chris Evans is great as always, being this bumbling guy who has no idea what he's gotten himself into, and he keeps getting mistaken as the tax man. And once again, tell me if you've heard this story before. It's been done to death, but this movie does it a little differently. Why? Because it's Anna de Armas and Chris Evans, right? And there's a lot of cameos in this movie. They put $1 million bounty on his head, and there's this hilarious scene where these bounty hunters keep killing each other off. And these are all A-list Hollywood actors who are playing these bounty hunters, which I thought was hilarious. That is a funny scene, and there are a lot of funny cameos throughout this movie of people trying to kill them, or people trying to, rekindle what they had with Anna de Armas, because once again, it's Anna de Armas, right? Do I think she was the perfect fit for this role? Probably not. There's just her acting came off a little bit off to me, just not quite what I was expecting. And she did like this role feel like it was just a forced role that I'm assuming she got paid quite a bit of money to do this movie. And of course, it's just a good time to work with I was about to call him Ben Affleck, to work with Chris Evans again, because they did work on The Gray Man together. But yeah, it was a fun movie. It was more of a romantic comedy than an action movie. There's a lot of characters in this movie, and I mean just like a bunch of carbon cutouts of bad guys and carbon cutouts of good guys throughout the movie. And then you have Chris Evans, right, playing the everyman, the straight guy in the movie, I guess you could say. And it works, but at the same time, thank goodness it was on Apple Plus, that I didn't go to the movies and waste money to go actually see this in the theaters. Definitely a date night movie where you could just sit at home, watch a cute, romantic, funny action, more of a male driven movie than anything. Um, than actually paying to go see this in the theater. Because it is on Apple Plus, that's the reason why I give it the go. If I would have saw this in the theater, I probably would have been a little upset, even though it's a very star-studded affair. But as I'm learning, these Hollywood movies that have these tons of stars in them, they that doesn't make them a good movie, right? As with Amsterdam and Babylon and all these movies that just have this amazing cast of characters, uh, cast of just amazing actors, doesn't always mean that it's going to be a good movie. So this movie was serviceable, definitely for watching at home, just chilling in bed with your loved one, and just enjoying a good old romantic comedy action movie that kind of spans all these different places in the world. Definitely worth that time because unless you have Apple Plus, if you do have Apple Plus, I mean, Apple gives a free year of Apple Plus every 5 months, I feel like, because not too many people are subscribing to it. Not too many people want to pay for that service. But if you do have it, I would definitely suggest watching Ghosted. It's worth your time. In between watching the Tank and Garcia fight this weekend and going to check out other movies in the theater, you definitely can make some time for Ghosted because it's a cute little movie, funny, star-studded. Of course, Captain America not being Captain America and Anna de Armas just walking and glowing on the screen the entire time. Definitely worth your time. But thank goodness they didn't bring it out in theater because I would not have paid to go see this in the theater, especially this weekend with so many good movies coming out. But if you do have the time in between those movies and the Tank and Garcia fight, then definitely check out Ghosted.